Hello and welcome back to Let's Play Legends of Another World. I've been making pretty good progress getting towards the end of the game, so I think it's a good time to take a break and get on with the low-level game series. Now, I'm not sure how much more life there is in this low-level game. I mean, I've got to some of the endgame bosses in my main series, and they look like they will be completely impossible with the low-level party. And there's many hard bosses in between the point I've reached and there. At some point I may just give up on this. But I certainly want to get a little bit further at least. One thing is that in the main series I didn't discover all the Monster Hunter bosses at the time I was meant to fight them, so when I came back and fought them I was rather overpowered. So to make up for that I'm going to try fighting through the Monster Hunter bosses with my low level party. The last thing that happened was getting the boat, which allows us to reach the Monster Hunter hut for the first time. We have to talk to Yomni to unlock the quest. In recent updates, this chest is here from the very beginning. Of course, you can't open it until after beating the Mai Ruins boss, which might be a bit too tough for us. Anyway, this character tells us about the Vampira and Reaper, so let's give those a go. So the Vampira should be pretty straightforward. I've put Harley back into the party because it's undead, so curative magic hurts it. And it is vulnerable to sleep, so Tara is going to learn Sleep Attack. Now, she does have enough AP to learn all her available skills, but I'm not just going to rush into learning all of them. I'm going to keep some of the AP back because it may be that fairly soon I have to level up to level 15 anyway, and if that time comes, then I'd like to have some AP to learn some of the new skills she gets at that level. But right now, Sleep Attack certainly, and Harley is going to get revived just because that's extremely useful. He will get more AP if we ever go up to level 15. So I'll be able to learn Haste, I'm not worried about that. But Revive is just pretty helpful because it stops me spending quite so much money on Phoenix Tears, and I do want to make things a little bit easier for myself in money terms, because at this stage of the game, after the Dark Transient, after losing access to a very easy way of making money, it's not going to be quite so easy for some time. Anyway, my setup, Alicia with Light Touch and Sleep Strike. Everyone has Dark Proof. I can't remember whether the... Oh, I need to take No Encounters off, of course. Can't remember whether it actually casts Dark, but... and we have to get through some random encounters before finding it. So Harley starts with a bit less MP because of the random encounter. Not a big deal. Does it have anything Vampire Fang? Okay. Vince should excel the party, of course. It's also vulnerable to weakness and meltdown, so I'll do Breaker Attack first. Yay, missed. Good, that does a good amount of damage. Actually, no, I will use Vince to revive Harley. Okay, got that. So I think the thing is, when it uses its illusion form, it's harder for us to hit it, but also harder for it to hit us. Okay, got it off to sleep. Yeah, I can risk an attack when I know that I'm going to have the opportunity to put it back to sleep immediately. And I do want to get in this extra damage. I'm not sure how much HP it has. Vince can't do very much at the moment. I suppose I could throw an item. I don't like throwing any of these because they cost money to replace, but I have a fair amount of them. Good, nice critical there. Oh, I should have given Harley an MP item. Although at this point, I'd probably just be best off using Scan to see how close to the end we are. Very close. So that one was no problem at all. The Reaper is going to be a more serious threat because of his ability to seal characters out of the fight. If he does that to 3 characters too quickly, then I'm in trouble. And he does that on his first turn. That is just not fair. And still, I'm going to do my best. So, gives regen. That's pretty much the only way to handle this. He has medium resistance to weaken and meltdown, but it's still possible to inflict them. Alicia still has the light touch, and he won't always seal immediately, so you do sometimes have the chance to stand up and get back in the fight. So as soon as I got the boat, There were quite a few places. Oh dear, that's bad. Well, managed to win with just Tara. And given that it's only 28 AP, I don't mind too much. Yes, as soon as I got the boat, there are a few places to explore, including the outside of Taedwa, which is a good place to get the Ice Touch Steel. I'd also gotten another water drain, which I didn't... Oh, yes, I got a 5th water drain from the outside of the underwater dungeon, which I didn't need as I already had 4, so I was able to sell those, and I've restocked on Phoenix Tears, which came in very useful. Before moving on, I should just clarify a couple of things. So we get the boat as soon as we've fought Aisha the first time. If you go back and talk to her again, she just gives 75 AP. The second fight with her is not accessible until later. And the optional boss in the mountains near Nyata, Adriol, is also not available yet. I could go to the inside of the underwater dungeon, but the thing is that in my main playthrough of this game, one of my points of feedback was precisely that. At this point of the game, the player could just put no encounters on and get a ton of really good stuff for free. So Namida has countered that by putting touch encounters, which means I can't go there at all without gaining experience until later in the game when I have Lena. So I'm going to try to get as far as I can without having to go there and get anything that's there. So with both Vampira and the Reaper defeated, we have access to the Mai ranges. And I've done a structural map of this place to help me work out the puzzle of using the chests as efficiently as possible. And I've conclusively proved that it's not possible to get both the Hyperlixir and the choice chest at the end of the dungeon. So the best possible result is what I'm doing now. First go in that side room, which gives 2 dusts for 1. This flame also gives 2 for 1. So we now have 3, that's the most it's possible to have at one time. Going up here is a 2 for 2, that's very helpful because Phoenix Dust I will almost certainly sell, not much use for those really. But the Psycho Strike I will definitely sell, and that's a nice source of income. Anyway, that gives us just enough to take this path. We get some money, 2 remedies. And we get to the end. So I'm going to keep this save file because this is a big decision. However, Namida has changed things so that multi-proofs are never buyable in the game. There are a limited number of them, so that makes the multi-proof option much more tempting. Alchemy is still a non-starter because I have one already and I can buy more of them at any time. Definitely not going to choose that over the others. Auto regen is very handy and also available in very limited quantities in a low-level game because I cannot farm for the items in the final dungeon to trade them in Sisona, and in any case that option's only available at the end of the game. Double hit is viable once we reach Sisona, but this would let me get it much sooner than that, and that would be very useful for some bosses coming up. So those three choices are all appealing, but I can only take one of them, and I'm going to go with double hit. So keep the saves before and after that separate. This boss, Sludgeon, is very difficult for a low-level party. I am going to try to beat it in this video, but not right now. Instead, it's back outside to take on the next boss. So, before the next boss becomes available, we have to defeat a fire guy, and the obscurity of this is one reason why in my main game I didn't discover the further Monster Hunter bosses until much later in the game. But Namida has now added a clue about this, so if you go back to the Monster Hunter hut and talk to Yongmi, he will specifically ask you, have you fought a fire guy yet? And tell you where to find them. Anyway, I think it's here that we're most likely to run into them. So I'll cut back in when I find one. So something a little strange happened. I fought a few battles here without running into the fire guy. I went back to the Monster Hunter hut just to see whether maybe I needed to speak to the NPC to unlock the fire guy. And he went straight on to his speech about there being a charged one. So it is in fact possible to get to the Electro guy without having fought a normal fire guy, and I suspect that Namida added this simply because now I've got as far as I have in the Mai ranges. Yongmi is no longer in the hut to give me that hint. It doesn't matter because the fire guy uses Explode on his final turn, so you don't get experience from him anyway. In fact, you don't get any reward from him, and he is completely trivial to beat because I have 4 fire drains. With the Electro guy, I have to deal with him being a caster of Thunder, which I don't have drains for. Nor do I have a water touch. I have given Alicia the double hit. Oh. Still not very strong. He has fairly high resistance to slow, but he can be hit with it, so pretty lucky that that went off as well as it did, as soon as it did. But yes, he can one-shot any party member. And he also has Thunder Wave, which hits everyone. For those, I just have to use a potion jug. And you can see he has pretty high HP, so it's going to take me a while to grind that down. But there are ways I can make it easier. He's also vulnerable to Zombie, which lets Harley add to the damage. I can add Adrenaline. And I can't remember. No, he's immune to weakness and meltdown, so I can't try those. I could try poisoning him if anyone knew poison. Do I have items for it? I don't think I do. Oh, I do have poison dust. Okay, worth trying that then. Got it. Okay, now that Amanda's finally gotten a turn, I can switch Ivy in and charge her up so I can use Blessing instead of... Potion Jugs, which are expensive to replace. There we are. Harley is a good damage dealer when the enemy has Zombie. So... So this won't be nearly as hard as it looked at first. That's unfortunate. But I did stock up a lot of those Phoenix Tears. I'm going to end this before Ivy would have a chance to use Blessing productively, so let's just hit him. I believe I may have forgotten to mention that everyone had Omni-Resist on for that fight. Without those, the Electro guy's whole party attack would have pretty much wiped me out. Anyway, here I am in Nyata, because this is something new that Namida has added. I pointed out that while the Fire Touch, Ice Touch and Water Touch were all available as steals, there was no source of Lightning Touch before you get the balloon, and Namida definitely wanted all of them to be available earlier than that. So he put them here in Nyata, which is obviously thematically appropriate. This is where you first learn about elements, but you get the touch abilities when you return here after Uvia. And I've already bought one Lightning Touch, which is going to be rather important for a certain optional boss that I want to beat. So the setup for the Leviathan, everyone has Water Drain. Alicia has Double Hit, Lightning Touch and Auto Shield. Oh, I put Harley in. I put Ivy in place of Harley. So she should have the Water Drain. And the reason for that is simply that Leviathan's physical attack always targets the character with the lowest HP. So putting Ivy in means that will be Alicia, who has the auto shield. I could have left Harley in and given the auto shield to him, but it felt more sensible to do it this way because, for one thing, Alicia has that much more HP, she may be better able to withstand it, and Ivy has Blessing. So let's give this a go. Well, that's unfortunate, but possibly after a couple of Vince's buffs, she'll be better able to withstand that. So Leviathan will cast Wateria on itself, and there used to be a bug where he wasn't actually set to absorb water. So he kept hurting himself with that. Obviously that's been changed. But with Lightning Touch I can do plenty enough damage to withstand that. And he sometimes counterattacks with Wateria, which is a free heal. But I'll charge up Ivy's Blessing just in case. Also, switch in Harley on a turn after he's used the physical, so I can scan. So I do want to see how things are going. So, of course, the thing with Leviathan, he has a huge amount of HP, and it's going to take a long time to go through that. Although with this setup there really isn't anything that can go wrong because he's going to keep re-healing me, so there's not much point in showing any more of this. I'm just going to cut to the end. Okay, we're almost there. It wasn't that bad really, once I had the buffs on so that everyone could participate in attacking, even Ivy with the Thunder Dance, Blue Magic, Thunder Wave, sorry. But the reward for that, as well as a very nice chunk of AP and money, which we urgently need, is the use special. So, just as in the main game, I'm going to give that to Alicia. So both she and Vince will be able to use specials to get buffs on the whole party as quickly as possible. So that was why I wanted to make sure to get that fight out of the way pretty much as early as it was available. So I just noticed this and wanted to show it in the video. This is what happens when you load a save from the boat. You get the boat icon in the menu. Okay, I'm going to do something that I haven't done before because this is such a difficult battle. I've just done a test run to work out my strategy and work out whether this battle was winnable at all. That part's not different. What is different is that this time I'm going to make a save, a separate save of course, after this test run, just so that I have the security of knowing that I have a save file with this battle complete. Because I don't have any confidence in being able to win. Well, if I won it once, I can win again, I know that, but next time it may be a lot harder, it may eat through a lot more resources, so I just want to have that save file. Anyway. Mighty Barrier is the reward for that. It's a blue magic that solidity, which is haste, shield and aura all at once. So at this stage of the game that is a very, very useful thing to have. For one thing, it's the only way of casting the haste status other than Alicia's items, which are limited in quantity. I had to use one of them to get through that fight. The disadvantage of Mighty Barrier is simply that it costs a lot of BP, but it's still something I would very much like to have going forward. And the other reason, of course, for beating the Sludgeon is to get into the second half of the MyE ranges, get the chests there, although I'm not going to be taking the Relica on for a while. Anyway, that was done, but I'm going to have another try at the fight from the beginning so you can kind of get an idea of what my strategy was like. So first I'll show my setup. The Sludgeon and its hands especially cast a lot of statuses. I can't really get proof abilities for all of them. I'm reluctant to spend any more money than is absolutely necessary at this stage of the game because it's hard to get money and there are some cloaked merchants coming up pretty soon that I definitely want to get the abilities from. So everyone has sleep proof, which is the one that's absolutely essential, and Harley has silence proof. He also has the auto shield because he's the lowest HP character in the fight. Tara has alchemy, very useful especially for Phoenix tiers, reviving characters at full health. Alicia, obviously with double hit and use special. And Vince has preemptive, just to get off to a good start. So, this is how it works. Vince goes first and casts Excel. Alicia goes next and uses a turbo boost on herself. So there is a risk, because there is no slow-proof ability available at this stage of the game. There is a risk of slow being cast on Alicia and negating the turbo boost, and I would reset if that happened. Tara can't do much on her first turn. I want to save her MP for breaker attacks, so I'll leave that for a while. Oh, I do also have to learn Alicia's specials, not just give her the use special. Hang on a second. So this is something you would not get to see in an ordinary playthrough. Alicia can learn Bliss, Faith, Purify, Adrenaline and Meditate. And since she has enough AP for it, may as well get them all. Not going to bother with Flee for obvious reasons. And get Mug. But Vince, of course, has more than that. He has Excel and Gamble, so that shows that those two are marked as level 15 and above. And playing a low-level game this far is the only way you would get to find that out. Right, so as before, Vince with his preemptive goes first and casts Agility. He's the only one who can. Alicia can cast Adrenaline. Good, that didn't do very much. The blind is nastier, so I'm going to remove that. So the left hand will heal itself every turn unless you put Weaken or Meltdown on it, in which case it will Esuna to remove those. So it's definitely worth casting Weakness and Meltdown as often as you can, because that makes it take up a turn rather than curing itself. However, first power everyone up as much as possible. I don't think any of the parts use magic, so there's no point in Meditate. And anytime slow is cast, you want to get that off as quickly as possible. Oh, I haven't even cast haste with Alicia. Right, now it's being a bit nastier in terms of giving us statuses, but I'll use Harley's turn, of course, to Esuna. And that was a very good... Oh no, I won't. One thing has even higher priority. Dispel. I forgot to mention that I've learned Dispel with Harley. Absolutely necessary for this fight. As far as I can work out, Sludgeon will only use Solidity once, ever. So if you have Dispel to remove it, you're good. Now it's time to work on the right hand. And one thing that I forgot, but first, Alicia needs to, since she has Darkness and Poison, I'll use a Remedy. Want to get both of those off. But put Amanda in the right hand is not vulnerable to weakness and meltdown, but it is to slow. So definitely don't want Alicia to die because she has the haste status. Want to keep that as long as possible. Once the right hand goes down, Sludgeon will cast Plague, which will, one thing I didn't try last time, because I didn't know about the Plague on that turn. But if I keep track, let's use Purify. It won't take the poison off, but it will take darkness off everyone. So the sludge is a really nasty thing to deal with. Statuses to everyone, and it can inflict zombie, which really interferes with healing, so it's a good idea to use Tara to throw relics around. Anyway, my plan is that on the turn when the right hand will die off, get Alicia out of the party so she's not hit with Sludgeon's Plague. I think it uses it on that turn, but only then. Okay, you did something useless. That's always nice for me. And of course the reason it's particularly important to have Alicia not hit by Plague is that Plague will cast Slow. So I'm doing much better this time than the last one. That's partly better luck and partly just because having gone through it once before gives me much more of an idea what I'm up against. Alicia has darkness, so that's another thing that I did in preparation for this fight. Got a few more status curing items. The aluminums are very important. Okay, that thing's only got about 2,000 left. So I don't want to attack it with Alicia anymore. I want to give an aluminum to Tara and have her finish it off. And get Alicia out of the party. Oh, that's nasty. So now it uses Plague. Get Alicia back in. Phoenix Tears on Tara. And now all that's left is trying to take the Sludgeon itself down. In my last battle I ended up using all 3 of these Phoenix Wings before I was done. Let's hope I don't have to do that this time. Phoenix Wings cannot be bought until much, much later in the game. Well, no one needs healing right now, so Harley has a turn I can use to scan this. I would like to know how close I am. It has a lot of HP. But I can also do a good amount of damage per round, and it's immune to most things. It has high resistance to weaken and meltdown, but it's worth trying at least. So it will keep using this Sludge ability, which can give everyone nasty statuses. I think the cure this time is to give Vince a relic and use Vince's turn to... Oh, it also takes agility buffs off, which is pretty horrible. So just make sure before you use a potion jug that no one currently has zombie. Okay. I'd like to use this turn to take off Alicia's poison. Obviously, Alicia's poison is the most important, both because she's the one I really want to keep alive for her haste status, and because what was I going to say? She just gets the most turns, so leaving poison on would kill her quicker than it would anyone else. I need to use a Liquor Plus. Harley's out of MP. Oh yeah, potion jug, may as well. So I've actually got it down a fair bit already. I think I've got a good chance this time. And now that Harley has MP again, I can Essalona to get the poison off everyone. So I could give Tara more MP and keep trying with Breaker Attack. I'm not going to. Don't think it's worth it. I'd like to keep my liquors for use on Harley. Harley is going to get a turn soon, so he can Furia Alicia. So I'll just use Vince's turn to excel. Tara, can you throw Vince an antidote? Ouch. Yes, I'm pretty confident actually that I'm going to win this with far fewer resources used than the last time. So that is a very pleasing result. And this is also where we're going to end the episode. Still got quite a bit done this episode, and without gaining any levels. There's definitely one boss coming up soon that I want to test myself against. So I'm definitely, I don't know how long I will continue the low level game for, but certainly this is not the end. So see you next time.